A woman insisted on using a fake VIP card for a discount, snapping, "The owner wouldn't want to lose a customer like me." I smiled, pulled out my name tag, and said, "Funny. I am the owner." Her face turned red as the real security guard stepped forward. "I run a small cafe in Savannah, Georgia. Not a franchise, not part of some chain. It's mine. I built it from nothing after getting laid off from a corporate job I hated. I maxed out 2 credit cards, borrowed from my sister, and worked open to close for the first year straight. It nearly broke me, but now I've got regulars, good staff, and a loyal base that keeps us afloat even when the weather's bad or the economy dips. We aren't fancy. The sign out front is hand-painted. The furniture's mismatched. But we treat people right. And I don't tolerate jerks, especially ones who try to push my staff around." That's where this story starts. It was a Friday morning, midsummer. The heat was already pushing high, and the air felt like hot soup. People still came in early, though, grabbing cold brews, breakfast sandwiches, and our best seller, pecan muffins. We were understaffed that day. My 2 shift leads both called out with a stomach bug, so I jumped behind the counter with Craig, my head barista. Just before 10 a.m., this woman strutted in like she owned the place. She was tall, maybe mid-40s, wearing a beige pantsuit like she was late to a deposition. Hair pulled back tight, lips painted dark red. Oversized sunglasses inside like she thought she was shielding herself from the paparazzi. I'd seen her before, maybe 3 or 4 times. She wasn't a regular. Just one of those folks who bounce between cafes trying to get something for nothing. She didn't wait in line. She skipped past 6 people without so much as a glance and slapped a black plastic card on the counter. "VIP. 50% off," she said, loud enough for the whole room to hear. I looked at the card. It was glossy, had a fake gold trim, and the letters VIP printed in what looked like Comic Sans. There was no logo, just a cheap sticker covering half of it with the words 50% discount, lifetime member. I stayed calm. I always do. "We don't have a VIP program," I said. She raised an eyebrow. "Yes, you do. I've used this here many times. The owner gave it to me." "Really?" I said, keeping my voice even. "Who was the owner?" She waved a hand. "Some guy. Tall. Beard. Said his name was Paul or something." I nodded. "You might be thinking of another cafe. We've been here 6 years. I've owned it since day one." Her lips curled up like she was going to laugh. "No, you're wrong. The real owner wouldn't treat me like this. He knew who I was. He said I was special. You're just, what are you new?" I slowly reached down and unpinned my name tag. Set it right on the counter. Morgan Rivers, owner. Her whole face changed. Her smug look dropped so fast it was like watching a mask slide off. Her cheeks flushed. Her mouth opened like she was going to say something, but no words came out. "That's impossible," she finally said. "I've used this card at least a dozen times. Everyone knows me here." I crossed my arms. If anyone took that card before, they did it without permission. "And it stops today." She leaned in. "You really want to make a scene over a discount?" At this point, everyone in the shop was quiet. Nobody was moving. A guy at the window seat had his phone half out, like he was ready to record. Craig stood beside me, arms folded, waiting to see if she'd escalate. "I'm not trying to make a scene," I said. "But you are. And now you're lying." She slammed her hand on the counter. "The owner wouldn't want to lose a customer like me." That's when I leaned forward and said it. "Funny. I am the owner." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Just said it flat, right in her face. And that's when Mike stepped forward. Mike's our security guy. He's technically part-time, but he lives a few blocks away and drops in for coffee almost every morning. He's 6'5", shaved head, arms like tree trunks. Retired Navy. Doesn't say much unless he has to. He saw what was going on and walked right up behind her. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, eyes on me. "She's trying to use a fake card," I said. "She needs to leave." Mike turned his body slightly, putting himself between her and the counter. "You heard the man." Her face twisted. I thought she was going to scream. Instead, she muttered something about calling her lawyer and stormed out, heels clacking like gunshots. The second the door closed behind her, the whole cafe exhaled. Someone clapped. A college kid in the corner gave me a thumbs up. But I wasn't done yet. After she stormed out, I figured that would be the end of it. But with people like her, it never is. 2 days later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I don't usually pick up unknown calls, but I was waiting on a delivery confirmation, so I answered. "Is this Morgan Rivers?" a man's voice asked. "Yeah, who's this?" "This is Charles Lane. I'm an attorney representing a client who had a very unpleasant experience at your establishment on Friday morning." I didn't say anything right away. I just let the silence sit there. She was humiliated, singled out, and publicly embarrassed, he continued. "We believe this may constitute discrimination under local business laws. We're prepared to take legal action unless an agreement can be reached." I almost laughed, but my throat went tight. This was serious now. I stayed calm. "Let me guess," I said. "Your client have red lipstick and a fake discount card?" "I'm not at liberty to, yeah, I thought so. Tell your client to stop calling lawyers and start learning how not to lie." I hung up. "But I won't lie to you." I was pissed. Not scared. Just angry. The kind that buzzes in your spine and makes your hands itch. She'd crossed a line trying to drag my name through legal mud because she didn't get her way. That's the thing with people like her. They're used to winning. Used to throwing their weight around and having people cave. Not me. Over the next week, she started a smear campaign. I got 3 fake 1-star reviews on Google, all posted within the same hour. All from accounts with no photo, no other reviews, and names like Coffee Girl Savannah and Southern Charm 2023. One of them said, "Owner is hostile. Discriminates against VIP customers. Avoid if you value good service." Another said, "Was treated rudely for using my discount. Staff made me feel unsafe. Security guard was aggressive. Never going back." I flagged them for removal, but I also started documenting everything. Screenshots, dates, even checked the security cam footage and backed it up to a separate drive. I wasn't going to let her paint me as the villain in my own story. I called a friend of mine, Tasha, who owns a boutique down the block. I told her what happened, and she groaned. "Her? That lady's poison. Tried to pull the same stunt in my store last year. Claimed she had a preferred shopper card and told one of my girls she'd get them fired if she didn't give her 70% off. When we said no, she threw a tantrum and knocked over a display. So, it wasn't just me. I started asking around quietly through local business circles. Turns out, she'd been pulling scams like this all over downtown. A fake coupon here. A misplaced receipt there. Always threatening to sue, always saying she was friends with the mayor or knew the owner personally. But she'd never been called out in public before. That's what made this different. I'd embarrassed her in front of a room full of people. And now, she wanted blood. So, I gave her something to chew on. I printed a huge photo of the fake VIP card she used, scanned and blown up, with a red stamp across it that said fraudulent in all caps. I framed it and hung it right behind the counter. Next to it, I put a little sign. "If you lie to our staff, this could be you." Real customers don't need fake status. The response? People loved it. I had 3 folks ask to take selfies with the sign on the first day. One guy even bought $50 worth of pastries just because he liked the no BS policy. Regulars started calling it the Wall of Shame. But I wasn't done yet. A week after I put up the Wall of Shame, things took a darker turn. One morning, I showed up early, about 5:30 a.m., to start prep. The sun hadn't even cracked over the water yet. When I got to the front door, I saw it right away. Someone had smeared something across the glass. Thick, brown, sticky. At first, I thought it was mud. Then the smell hit me. coffee grounds, mixed with raw eggs. It was everywhere. Splattered across the windows, stuffed into the doorframe, dripping down the mailbox slot. They'd also scratched something into the wooden trim next to the door. Just one word, carved deep, liar. My stomach dropped. I didn't call the cops right away. First, I checked the security footage. Sure enough, there she was caught in grainy black and white at 3:17 a.m. Wearing a hoodie this time, but unmistakable from the way she walked. Same purse, same heels. You could see her struggling to hold a grocery bag full of crap and stumbling as she smeared it all over the glass. And then, like she wanted to twist the knife, she pulled something from her bag and held it up to the camera. That fake VIP card. She waved it, slow and taunting, right into the lens. That's when I called the police. They came fast. Officer Daniels, a local guy I'd known since high school, took the report, watched the footage, and sighed. Y'all been having trouble with her? I nodded. She's been harassing us for weeks. He shook his head. She pulled something like this at the farmer's market last year. Threw a potted plant at a vendor when they wouldn't take a fake coupon. They didn't press charges, so she got off clean. Well, I'm pressing. He smiled at that. Good. About time someone stood up to her. I gave them the footage, the printouts of the fake reviews, and a copy of that lawyer's voicemail. By that afternoon, the police had issued a citation for criminal mischief. But I knew she wasn't going to stop just because the law knocked on her door. So I made it public. I went online, posted the whole story, no names, just the facts. I didn't have to call her out directly. The people in this town? They put two and two together real fast. The post blew up. People shared their own stories. She tried to return worn clothes at a boutique downtown without a receipt. Tried to stiff a hair salon by saying her husband would handle it later. Even tried to sue a nail tech for emotional distress because the polish wasn't the right shade of red. By the end of the week, half the business owners in downtown Savannah had banned her. But then she tried one last move, and this one was the worst yet. She filed a civil complaint against me. Said I defamed her and that my unlawful display of a private transaction had caused her emotional trauma and public ridicule. Her complaint claimed $10,000 in damages. She even attached a blurry photo of the fake VIP card on the wall, saying I'd targeted her image. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. But I did neither. I hired a lawyer, Steve Brantley, sharp, local, no nonsense, and we countersued. For harassment. For attempted fraud. For slander. I gave him everything. The footage. The reviews. The damage to the door. The lawyer voicemail. Her showing the fake card on camera. Even the footage of her walking into other stores on our street and trying the same stunts. And Steve? He didn't just want to win. He wanted to bury her. The court date was set for early November. By then, the story had spread far beyond our street. A local blogger picked it up, and the headline read, Savannah Cafe owner fights back against VIP card fraudster. It got shared hundreds of times. Someone even recognized her from a church newsletter and posted, she tried to get our bake sale shut down because we didn't offer donor perks. She was getting backed into a corner, and everyone could see it. But I'll be honest, part of me didn't feel right. I wasn't perfect either. I let it get personal. I didn't just defend my business. I enjoyed humiliating her. I liked seeing her squirm. That's a hard thing to admit, but it's true. Still, she chose this. And when people show you who they are over and over again, you believe it. The day of court, she showed up in a blazer 2 sizes too big, hair down, no lipstick this time. She looked tired. Worn out. Like someone who'd lost more than sleep. Her lawyer wasn't the same guy who called me. This one looked fresh out of law school. I don't think he believed her story either. When it was my turn to testify, I kept it short. I told the truth. That she used a fake card. That she caused a scene. That she vandalized my business. That she tried to tear my name down for refusing to play along. My lawyer dropped everything like a hammer: photos, reviews, witness statements, even footage from other businesses. The judge sat quiet the whole time, flipping through papers, raising her eyebrows now and then. When it was all over, the judge leaned forward and looked directly at her. "This case was never about defamation," she said. "This was a tantrum stretched out over months. You didn't just lie. You tried to destroy someone's livelihood because they didn't give you a discount." Then she turned to me. "Mr. Rivers, your response was passionate, but bordering on petty. Posting the card on the wall, while understandable, fanned the flames." That stung. But she was right. In the end, the judge dismissed her claim entirely and ruled in my favor. She was ordered to pay for the damages, plus my legal fees. Not only that, because of her past behavior now made public, the city placed her on a business watch list. That meant she'd be flagged any time she tried to file another consumer complaint. She stood there, quiet, while the judgment was read. Didn't argue. Didn't cry. Just stared at the floor. Afterward, outside the courthouse, I saw her again. She was sitting on the bench, alone, clutching her purse. I could have walked away. But I didn't. I walked over and stood in front of her. We didn't speak for a full 10 seconds. Then I said, "You could have just said sorry." She looked up at me. Her eyes were red, not from crying, but like someone who hadn't slept in weeks. "People like you don't forget," she whispered. "You make sure of that." And you know what? She was right. I didn't forget. But I also didn't need to carry it anymore. I turned and walked away. Back to my cafe. Back to my life. The frame with the fake VIP card? I took it down a few days later. Replaced it with something else, a photo of the first dollar I ever made, back when it was just me, one coffee pot, and a dream people laughed at. Because some fights aren't just about winning. They're about knowing when to stop swinging.